KayFabe Smark Podcast. Welcome to the KayFabe Smark Podcast with Eric Todd and Brian Rampa, your smart mark source for news and opinions on the world of professional wrestling.
Hey. It is January 28th, and we are recording this live. We are coming at you with the KayFabe Smark Podcast. This is episode 36. Eric, what's going on in your world, man? Let's change the intro up a little bit.
You know, same old, just chilling. Stella is back. She's in bed per usual as the first 10 episodes. As some people may know, my son and his girlfriend live with me. His girlfriend is pretty much my live-in dog sitter. So she took a little vacation. She'll be gone for a few days. So Stella's having nappy time in my bed right now.
There you go. Make sure you guys get on over to all our social media platforms. Facebook, the KayFabe Smark. Instagram, the KayFabe Smark. TikTok, the KayFabe Smark. Make sure you get on over to YouTube and look us up over there on the KayFabe Smark. Like, subscribe, share on all of those platforms. And make sure you hit us up on anchor.fm/KayFabeSmark if you got a question. Someone send an email. And then get on over to audibletrial.com/KayFabeSmark. Get a free audiobook, free 30-day trial. Check it out. See what's going on with an audiobook. Learn something new. It's 2021. Change your life. Get in on some Dogecoin or something.
Yeah, get in on some Dogecoin, some GameStop, some AMC theaters.
Fight the man.
And definitely, COVID lockdowns are still going on. People still aren't going out. Sit your ass down and listen to a book.
Listen to a book. Change your life. Take a look. It's in a book. It's reading Rainbow. All right, Eric. Let's dive into this first with some news. It's big news. It's the talk of the town on the old inner tubes. It is the WWE Network has partnered, has signed up, has joined forces with NBC's Peacock.
Yes, I think this is a big deal right here. It was shocking to a lot of people, but I think this is a great move for WWE.
I think it was a great move, too, and I have been angrily typing on the internet. Angry typing guy that these people are reporting falsely on the things that are happening in this merger or this not even merger. I don't even want to use that term. In this partnership that they've created. The NBC did not buy the WWE Network. NBC did not acquire the WWE Network. The WWE Network is not shutting down. The WWE Network will be running for everybody outside of the United States. This deal is just for the United States. This deal is worth an estimated $1 billion in the WWE's favor.
$1 billion.
So we were speaking earlier, Eric, and let's go over some of the benefits of why this was a win for WWE.
Okay, just to clarify, what you said everything it's not, and I'll say everything it is. It's a licensing deal. You create a video you think is cool on the internet, you put it on YouTube or Reddit or whatever. There's companies out there that will approach you with licensing deals. Hey, we put your shit out there. We give you money and we take a cut of the money. That's essentially what this is. And I think the meat and potatoes of this is WWE Network had about 1 million subscribers. Peacock has about 26 million subscribers. So that right off the bat, I think that's the hot ticket right there.
Yeah, 100%. This is the same idea when Vince went to cable in the 80s. And people are going, cable, it's all about local TV. Nobody has cable. And then everybody has cable. So now nobody has cable, so he's going where the people are. You don't have to support a whole back-end system or as large of a back-end system as you were when you had everybody involved. NBC is going to be your partner in managing the product that comes out, the content that's on there. I don't see why anybody wouldn't want this, and why the WWE wouldn't want this. And as fans, you can get an option to get half the price if you want it.
Right, you can get it with commercials for $5, but people are so quick nowadays. So Vince McMahon is for the most part, a universally hated man. We shit on him. Other podcasters shit on him. Old wrestlers shit on him. He's really lost touch, and a lot of people want him to step away. A lot of people want to see him fail. I don't want to see him fail, but a lot of people do, and this is their moment where they get a little hint that WWE might be in trouble, and they just want to raise the roof. Yay, WWE's failing. Vince had to sell the network. No, fuck you. Vince is going to be making even more money than ever.
This is exactly what it is. So he wins. We win. The product's going to win. I think everything's going on. People are talking like, oh, they've only said that this year's WrestleMania will be included for free with your subscription. They've been talking about charging, and the rumors of charging for pay-per-views for big events on the WWE Network itself has been a rumor since the WWE Network launched. Oh, they're just giving the pay-per-views for free this first year to get everybody signed up, and then they're going to charge within their platform to then watch the pay-per-view. That's been, what does the network come out? Was it 2012? 2013? I don't remember. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been like 7-8 years that this thing's been out. They've never done it. Now they're moving to NBC with the option of 26 million people. Now 27 million people. The WWE is going to bring 1 million people, and then they're going to join 26 other million people and growing.
Right, and we know all 26 million aren't necessarily wrestling fans, but I bet a huge chunk of that 26 million people are cheap asses who are going to allow commercials on all their programming. And you bet your ass Peacock's going to be running some WWE commercials, which will drive up sales of merch, live viewership. If that ever becomes a thing again, it'll bring more people into the circle and more viewers over to USA, I'm sure, more viewers over to Fox. If you 26 million people is a lot of people. I'd love to have a commercial on that network for us.
Right. I'll take 10%.
Let's dig into our Anchor.fm pockets and see what we can pull out.
If you guys do what they're doing on the internet right now, and everybody buying up all the stocks of AMC and GameStop, if you guys just head on over to audibletrial.com/thekayfabesmark, and if it goes viral with everybody buying from our tag there, and we get our commission cut from that, I'll buy a commercial on NBC.
All right, you heard it, guys. You heard it here first. Storm the gates.
Storm the gates.
audibletrial.com/thekayfabesmark. Every time one of you guys sign up, we get $15. So
come on, man. You can do this in the mass droves. Tear it down. All right, so anyways, WWE Network, not gone, but it will be pushed aside for a while. It'll be maintaining anybody else outside the United States. So the rest of the world, there's a lot of other people that'll still be using the WWE Network. And in a few years, when this contract is up, my prediction is it's going to be, 1, renewed with NBC for more money, or 2, they're not happy with it and they go back to their platform that's still up and running and they just open it back up to the people in the United States.
That's about it.
And Vince has been in bed with NBC since the 80s.
Shit, Saturday night's main event.
It's been on USA forever and a day. Monday Night Raw, they had a split for a couple years when they bounced over to Spike for 2 or 3 years, and then back to USA. It's been an NBC USA product for a long time. This isn't a new-found friendship. Like they didn't jump in bed with Quibi. Some failing, you know what I'm saying? Something that's never been heard of. They're like, no, we're going to go ahead and get involved with the guys we've been in bed with for a long time. So anyways, WWE wins, pockets some money, life is good. My wife's excited because now she gets the Peacock Network thing to subscribe to. So I told her, looks like we're getting the premium Peacock streaming service. Why's that? WWE's jumping to it, and you get commercial free, and it's $9.99, and I already paid $9.99, so just we'll get the commercial free one.
Right.
She goes, cool.
There you go. And yeah, in that same vein, I'm sure there's a lot of people riding on other people's accounts that aren't paying the $10 because, you know, a lot of people don't want to pay $10 a month just for wrestling, especially old wrestling, you know. So for $9.99, I promise you, we don't work for NBC. For $9.99, you get all the same wrestling stuff and then all the stuff NBC Peacock provides. I don't know. I haven't signed up yet, but I'll be signing up when it switches over.
Right. I'm all in. So there you go. Bingo, bango. I give WWE and their merger with the NBC Peacock a big fat thumbs up. Eric, what else you got going on in news for us?
Your hat, Brian. It looks like you're in a Dr. Dre video with a pot leaf on it. Because every time you fade back, your blur on your Google meeting fades it out. It's nothing controversial, folks. It's just Shaggy and the Creep.
Shaggy and the Creep, son.
But yeah, over in the, well, not baby mama drama, but drama world of Twitter feuds, Chris Jericho and Jim Cornette are always spilling the tea on each other. They're always beefing. They've always got something funky to say. Well, news recently came out that Chris Jericho contributed $38,360 to Donald Trump's reelection campaign.
Oh.
And we don't talk about politics on the KayFabe Smark podcast, but Cornette does at length. And Cornette is not a fan of Donald Trump. And once he heard this news about Jericho donating or contributing 40 grand, Cornette, and I quote, said, "You are a filthy human being for supporting a filthy, disgusting pig. And that's why you get my fuck you. We are no longer friends and will never be friends again." Now, that is a big statement from Cornette, seeing as how he helped bring Chris Jericho up when him and Lance Storm were down there in Smoky Mountain. Jim Cornette played a huge role in Jericho's success, so they've been close for a while.
Yeah, but Cornette's also a big yapper.
Right. A lot of people may say that this is, you know, in character, in kayfabe, but Cornette gets heated about Trump, so I don't know. And he's burned a lot of bridges. We've seen him burn a lot of bridges in the wrestling world.
Correct.
Well, Jericho couldn't keep his mouth shut about that. Who could?
Why would you?
Right. Jericho responds to this by saying, "I've been told that Jim Cornette and his sidekick, the great Brian Last, continue to brutally bury me for everything I do and say. My response to that is, have at it. You're entitled to your opinions, and I'm honored to provide content that helps you pay your bills. Best of luck to both of you."
Well, there you go. He took the gentleman's route out and said, "Hey, you want to talk shit? Talk shit. It's the internet. God bless you."
Oh, yeah. Jericho took the high road on that one, said, "Do what you do." And Cornette continued down the low road with a response. And I quote, "If you put the vodka down, got on a low-carb diet, and had enough pride to quit doing cheerleading routines with outlaw wrestlers and stopped giving your money to a lunatic psychopath leading an insurrection against the U.S., I don't know what I'd talk about." So, yeah, Corny was kept it going. Jericho, as of now, hasn't responded to that. But it's pretty safe to say these two aren't going to be hitting the links together and hitting the back nine and sharing a golf cart.
You don't think they're going to play a little tennis together? Have a little sit down, have a smoke and a drink?
Play doubles with Riho and Kenny Omega.
Gee, I don't see why that wouldn't happen. Well.
So yeah, that was the Twitter tea. But other than that, I didn't see any other news that really caught my eye.
The Twitter tea makes it sound so formal. Like I feel underdressed. The Twitter tea. Yeah, I didn't see any big news either, really, anything that was going on. I mean, the WWE Network, NBC, partnership, that kind of buried, I think, anything else happening. But nothing big on the news tip this week coming into it. So, per usual, we're going to talk about some wrestling, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to talk a little AEW.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people, including yourself, Brian, had trouble streaming or playing AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite. At least the first match seemed to be deleted or
Yeah, so
I don't know what it was, scrambled or what.
I come home and pop it on YouTube TV at 8:30, so I can be behind a little bit and catch up a little faster, boost through some commercials, and it starts out, they're talking, they start to introduce the guys, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a wrap. Like, it just kind of scrambles out. It was like back in the day when you didn't pay for the pay-per-view, and before, like, your cable network would catch on that, like, to scramble it, like, you caught, like, the intro and, like, maybe the first guy walking down to the ring, you're like, they're not going to catch it. They didn't know I didn't pay for it. And then scrambled, and then I kept fast-forwarding, and it popped on somewhere along the Jon Moxley promo. So that's where I officially started off my AEW Dynamite last night. So you can talk me through this first match and let me know if it's something I need to go back and find.
For sure. So I have Sling TV, and I came back and I watched the replay and had no issues with it. So on Wednesday Night Dynamite, leading off the show, we had Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer. And I anticipated a pretty good match out of this one. Both of these guys are great workers. I've been a huge fan of Lance Archer since the beginning. He's a little cheesy with his beating up just random people in the back and dragging them out to the staging area. But luckily, this time he gave that up. He came out with Jake the Snake as usual. But this time, Brian, he sent Jake the Snake to the back. They get out onto the ramp on the way to the ring. He turns to Jake, points to the ramp, and tells him to go in the back. That was a little strange.
Huh. So my question is that you can answer me is, when I saw Eddie Kingston come down to the ring, it scrambled out after that. Did Eddie wrestle in that street gear that he wore down? He came out in like jeans and a t-shirt, it looked like.
He was just wearing black cargo pants and his black and red singlet top.
Oh, he did. So he's had a t-shirt.
Yeah.
He must have had a t-shirt on over it when I like caught the glimpse. I was like, oh, he ditched the singlet thing. He's just gonna wrestle like no.
Oh no. We were treated to the Eddie Kingston gut over the belt buckle gimmick that he's been running for a while.
He needs to rock the t-shirt and wear Timbos, and he'd be looking straight in the ring. That would fit him perfectly.
Yeah. No, but this match delivered. This was a great match until the ending. But there was a we can call it a high spot with these two because these two don't fly. But Archer choke slammed Eddie Kingston over the top rope, and I believe it was supposed to be onto the floor, but Eddie nailed the ring apron, as we know is the hardest part of the ring,
Of course.
and bounced off the edge of the ring and hit the ground, and I thought he was dead, but I guess he just took it on the hip and he was A-okay. And other than that, no huge spots. They just worked a good match. They both know what they're doing. Archer accented his power, showed off his power moves. Eddie Kingston was selling his ass off. I was getting more of a babyface vibe off of Eddie Kingston. Lance Archer playing the heel, but in this company, as we know, you never know who's a babyface, who's the heel.
It don't matter.
And then that's where the ending comes in.
That's where the ending comes in.
So this was a good match. It went on, and well, Butcher and Blade drag Jake Roberts out from the back, drag him out kicking and screaming on the floor. So that's where we realize the whole reason Lance Archer sent Jake the Snake to the back, because he doesn't do it any other time, was specifically so that the Butcher and the Blade could drag him out later. And that just drove me fucking bananas.
I can see how, because it was very set up. I saw it. I haven't seen the match. Literally could not see it. And you told me that he sent Jake back, and I go, well, that means something has to happen to said Jake. So either Jake is going to turn on Lance Archer. I didn't see that coming, but I'm saying these are just options you could throw around. Or he's going to come out the other side, so he sends him through the tunnel, and then he interferes through the match, comes through the crowd. Something's going to happen, clearly. But what it is, I didn't know. And then this is what it was.
No. He sent Jake to the back just so the story can happen.
Oh. not even a good story, just a story.
So in the distraction, Butcher and Blade are beating up Jake the Snake up on the stage, and Archer is obviously distracted at this point. This is where the Bunny makes a run in and hands Kingston the Knuckle Duster.
The Knuckle Duster?
The Knuckle Duster, not the brass knucks, Brian, the Knuckle Duster. Eddie Kingston gives Lance Archer a back fist, gets the 1, 2, 3. And so that gets you thinking, is Lance Archer a babyface now? Because Kingston had to hit him with the Knuckle Duster to win. After the match, Butcher and Blade come down, and all three of them are just curb stomping Lance Archer and beating the shit out of him. So then now you're thinking Lance Archer's the babyface. And I don't know. I'm just so lost. Until the end of this match, I was into it. And then just all the contrived bullshit happened where the beat down of Jake Roberts and the Knuckle Duster and then the beat down of Lance Archer. But Lance Archer's a bad guy any other time. And then Schiavone tops it off by saying, maybe sending Jake to the back was a mistake. I don't know. No, it wasn't a mistake, Schiavone. He sent him in the back so the Butcher and the Blade could fucking drag him out and distract him later. Duh.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to see it, so I don't have too much to comment on it exactly, but you laid it out that it sounded like a big steaming pile of poo-poo towards the end, and that you were let down.
It was just a clusterfuck. This match had so much potential, but it just basically looked like a 5-year-old booked it, and that seems to be the story with AEW a lot, where it's just like good performances, bad booking.
Yeah. Well, boo.
Moving on from that, that's where you tune in here. Moxley is in the dark construction zone at looks like an abandoned hospital with cranes in the background.
Somebody get this man a
house.
Don't know.
I don't know how he finds these places. You think he just throws a dart at a map? He's like, I'll do a promo here.
And keeps finding new places. New construction sites, new sewer underground drains. I don't know where. It's always different. He hasn't gone back to anything yet. He hasn't repeated a terrible background yet.
Yeah, never tell me the earth is overpopulated, because John Moxley's found every abandoned rural area known to man so he can cut promos there.
Yeah, he can help find some people some housing. He can spread them out a little bit.
But Moxley chimes in, really digs in on the Good Brothers, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Don Callis thing, where it's just a whole, I hate to repeat the word, but clusterfuck, where nobody knows what's going on. These people are friends with these people, but Callis doesn't want the Bucks being friends with Omega, but Omega's friends with the Good Brothers, but the Good Brothers are teaming with the Young Bucks tonight. And it's props to Moxley. Kudos to Moxley for calling that shit out. It's kind of crazy that you would call that out on your own TV show, but it's everywhere. It's ADD booking.
It's been a little wacky the last several weeks of the ADD booking over on the AEW. And then he gets into leading into the 6-man match coming up at Beach Bath. Not Bash at the Beach, but Beach Break or something for spring break next week, right? They're doing that 6-man tag with him, Penta, and Pac. Or no, maybe not Penta. It was the other. It was Ray Phoenix and Pac.
Yeah, versus shit I didn't write down, but they put the graphic on the screen.
Good Brothers and Kenny.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're well informed here on the KayFabe Smark, but yeah, I don't know. I just focused on the funny part where he was just picking apart the booking. I thought that was great. Everybody knows the 6-man tags happening at Beach Break. And
AEW loves their 6-man tags.
yeah, and Mox is going to beat up Omega. It's always the exclamation point on his promos. Yeah,
oh, so what match did we go into following that?
Oh, we didn't go into a match, Brian.
Oh, we didn't? I don't remember.
Looks like the cameraman got done filming Mox and went into the abandoned building. That way he could film a promo with Sting and Darby Allin.
That did follow immediately, didn't it?
Right. So Sting is going on and on, talking to Team Taz, and he's angry that Team Taz called them thugs, and Sting denies that he's a thug, but he says that Darby Allin is in fact a thug. Darby Allin wears that like a badge of honor as he smashes a glass window with his skateboard and says Sting's a thug too. And at this point, Brian, it's just so fucking goofy. You've got a 68-year-old man wearing clown paint.
Looks
and
like
his
dressed up like the Crow.
A little 120-pound kid from the I Love Turtles meme. And they're just gonna wearing fucking shorts and leggings, and they're just gonna continue to smash windows with skateboards and baseball bats. And after that, they both just admit it. They're both thugs.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. I wouldn't be scared of Sting and Darby Allin. I don't think those are the thugs I'd be afraid of if I was walking through South Central LA.
Thug life. I forgot about that. I knew that promo happened. I didn't realize it happened right after the John Moxley one, though. Off the top of my head, that's yes, and that was just. I don't know where AEW finds these places to record these at. Trash these.
I
rooms.
swear to God, they had to have just went from outside with Mox inside with these two.
All right, then we move on.
Then we move on to a match, Brian. We've got the Varsity Blondes, of course, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus MJF and Chris Jericho.
With the entire inner circle around the ring.
Oh, yes. I forgot. This match delivered. This was a great match.
I thought this was good, too. I was very highly entertained by this match. Like they let the young talent shine, I think, just enough where they weren't looked at as complete, Saturday morning superstars jobbers.
Right. They didn't come off as jobbers, and they didn't come off as
equals.
Complete equals. Yeah. And AEW has a bad habit of doing that, where they'll just bring in Dan Smith from buttfuck Iowa, and he'll be facing John Moxley, and they'll have a 32-minute barn burner that goes down to the very end. No, this wasn't that. But we did get a nice glimpse of the old MJF with his just mic skills are off the chain, just completely berating Griff Garrison. And it just seems so natural. MJF is just so natural. I hate the fact that he's tied down to the inner circle right now, and that he basically just has to follow along Jericho's lead. I want MJF on his own, doing his own thing.
I think we just have to have, to quote the great Axl Rose, a little patience with that, and I think we will see that happen eventually. I think they're playing a long game here with us, and this might be AEW's first long game that they've really committed to. And hopefully they stay committed to it.
Well, spoiler alert, the Shaq and Cody thing's been a long game.
Well, no, that's been a forgot about game. That's been like, oh yeah, we don't get nothing to talk about. Let's talk about that. At least this MJF and Inner Circle thing is constantly on TV.
Right, good point. But back to this match, Griff Garrison gets things started with MJF, and my computer went into screensaver mode at this point because I couldn't take notes. I was completely drawn in. Griff Garrison is fantastic. Brian Pillman is fantastic. MJF is fantastic. And even Jericho in this match, he hid his weaknesses quite well. We saw how terrible he was last week, but this week he looked great. I mean, not physically. Physically, he still looked like Jabba the Hutt in a sandwich bag, but but his performance was great.
I think this is a good spot for Jericho to be in. Now, I know this is not the spot necessarily that MJF wants to be in long term. So, with a tag team, he doesn't want to run this tag team. I wouldn't guess that MJF wants to be the tag team guy with Jericho. Maybe he does. Maybe he's going, dude, I get to wrestle with one of my idols. I don't know. But you just think that a guy like MJF would want to be the next guy in line, right? So
You would think.
I don't think, but I think it's a good spot for Jericho to be in one of these type of tag teams because you can get in, get a lot of stuff in, and then tag out and send the young kid back in. And you never
get out there
really
and catch your breath.
and you never really can kind of look like garbage, or you can kind of just hide in the thing. Look how good we remember Haku and Andre the Giant from like what was 90, 91, 92 when Andre barely could walk. And then if you go back and rewatch those matches, Andre just stood on the outside on the corner. Haku did all the work. Andre got in, did a couple slaps in the chest, did a pin, and it was over. But man,
Right.
we remember that tag team. That was they were the shit.
Yeah, Haku's strong as an ox carrying that fucking team. But yeah, so this was a fantastic match and all four performers looked great. And then the ending happened, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. The Blondes kept getting beat down and making their comebacks. And at this point, near the end of the match, they're on a roll. Griff Garrison's going to take Jericho out, but he does a little jumpy jump over the top rope there. Jericho catches him with a Judas effect and hits that lion salt. And man, he's been practicing that lion salt, ain't he?
He came back. He saw every TikTok, Instagram, every YouTube wrestling hater out there that said, you got to hang up that lion salt, Jericho. You're too big these days. You're too thick to be doing that lion salt. He came out there, and boy, howdy. He could have done it twice. He got so much height.
Yeah, he hit that springboard lion salt, and he did. Last week, it came down right on his forehead. This time, it wasn't even close. He hit it perfectly. It was all there. That was vintage Jericho.
Vintage Jericho, and that was also what you call a big to the internet. He gave them a big old fuck you. I know how to do this shit still. So
after the lion salt, Jericho gets the 1, 2, 3, and I just didn't like how abruptly it ended like that. Just completely stopped the baby faces in their tracks, took away all their momentum, and just instantly pinned. Didn't really seem like Jericho and MJF got much offense in this match. So I don't know if that was done purposely. You do have two great
future performers.
You got the future in one corner, and even though Jericho has lost a lot of his physical ability, mentally, he still knows how to run a match. And MJF is a prodigy. He knows how to run a match. So you got these two running the match. Maybe it was done like that on purpose, where we're going to give the spotlight to these guys, but we still have to win. But I don't know. It just seemed too abrupt.
It was very abrupt. That is the point of that move, though. Of that Judas effect that he's built in, is it's supposed to have that abrupt ending, that MMA feel to it. So there is that, but what I'm glad that didn't happen was that it didn't end dirty. It didn't end with a bunch of interference. It didn't end with the Inner Circle having to cheat to win over the Varsity Blondes, right? You have to cheat to beat up these young kids. Like, and you guys wants to be the tag team. This is supposed to be the tag team to represent the Inner Circle, and you're going to cheat. So I'm glad it didn't come to that. That's what I'm really glad didn't happen. So, for whatever that's worth.
Right. So that match was another decent match. So NXT, I've lost a lot of interest in NXT because it's just boring characters. There's a lot of boring matches. just a lot of matches you don't care about. And it's just not fun to watch NXT. AEW keeps you on your toes. Last week, I stand by it, was probably in the top 3 worst episodes they've ever put on. But even in that point, being in the top 3 worst episodes they've ever put on, it was still fun to talk about and still fun to watch because, man, when it's that easy to talk shit about a show, man, it's great.
Yeah. The NXT it's too polished right now. I think they need to step back a little bit and let some grit and grime shine through. And unfortunately, you're going to get the bad with that, but again, I think that's something that they need. They need a little spark, a little something to draw you in, a little you never know what's going to happen, whether it's good or bad.
Right. Just when NXT is bad, it's just kind of like, ugh, that sucked. When AEW is bad, it's like a fucking train wreck.
You don't want to leave. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they also keep you on your toes where last week was a horrible episode. This week, not so bad. But after the Jericho MJF victory, we go back to Pac cutting a promo on Kenny Omega, and he's pretty mad about Omega digging that old pointy boot into old Cerro De Niro's eyepiece.
Cerro De Niro. What drives me nuts with Pac is he is always, and I mean always, in wrestling gear. This guy makes a surprise appearance back finally after the pandemic kind of, not necessarily, the travel limitations because of the pandemic have lifted, and he finally makes it back to the United States. He surprises everybody at like 9:57 on a Wednesday night Dynamite. He comes strolling out. Boom. He's in his panties with his armbands on, and his hair is covered in a bottle of water and a couple squirts of baby oil. He's rip-roaring ready to go, and all he does is make a challenge for his friend to have a wrestling match for Rey Fenix. Doesn't even get in the ring. Just stands on the aisle, and that's that. This week, he's in a weird AEW abandoned warehouse. And he's in his wrestling panties with his armbands on and baby oil and water in the hair, ready to go. But he's nowhere to be seen in a wrestling ring.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, Brian. We give MJF props for staying in character all the time, but now we want to give Pac shit.
I want Pac just to wear a hoodie and sweatpants.
No, I am willing to believe that Pac grocery shops in his fucking armbands and panties, and he runs up and down the aisles screaming in an Irish accent and shaking the mayonnaise like the Ultimate Warrior.
It's just he takes that old adjective of, always be prepared to the most literal sense. Not just have a duffel bag in your car at all times with wrestling gear in it in case a wrestling match breaks out. Just, I'm always ready to fight.
No, it is funny, though. I didn't really notice that, but that's a great point. But it is funny. Last week, I gave old Jungle Boy shit for just wearing jeans and a T-shirt because, I don't know. I think Pac is a lot more established, and Pac's personality comes through no matter what he's wearing. He could be dressed up like he could be dressed up like Rey Mysterio, and I would still know it's Pac. Jungle Boy is just some skinny, long-haired kid.
Jungle Boy has a gimmick, though. Jungle Boy's supposed to be in the jungle. They really sold that thing. So you kind of got to stretch with that jungle gimmick, right? That'd be like seeing Luchasaurus not with, green in his beard and trying to pretend he's a dinosaur. You'd be like, well, this, you're not connecting these things. Stay consistent with it, so.
Right.
Counterbalance. I know we argue one way, then somebody does it another way, but the wrong guy did it the wrong way, and this guy needs to do it that way. Damn it, we're right. I have a microphone. I'm right.
Pac is Pac no matter what he wears. Jungle Boy isn't in the jungle if he's wearing Calvin Klein jeans and a clean white tee.
Exactly.
But moving on, we go to break after this, and we come back, and oh my God, Brian. Shaquille O'Neal looks like He's probably on NBA on TNT or something. And he's cutting a promo on Cody. And Shaq cuts a promo with the same energy and the same moxie as Jade Cargill. These two are two peas in a pod when it comes to promo cutting.
Maybe that's why they're friends.
They went to promo class together. But Shaq twice calls Cody a punk. Says, you got your little blonde hair. You look like a little girl. So he calls him a girl. Says he has little blonde hair. Calls him a punk. And says, you want some of the Shaq attack? You just named the place and the time. And says, let's do it. Let's do it in March. How about that?
How about that? How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? So they're gonna do it. They're planning to do this at that Revelation. Is that the pay-per-view they're doing, or just in March sometime?
No, it's going to be a Revolution or
Revolution. Revolution.
Yeah, early March. I think it's like March 7th or something. But at this point, this was a taped promo from Shaq, obviously. He's very serious. He took his glasses off at one point. And this is where we get Cody to come down to the ring to give his response.
Yeah.
Now, everybody knows that Red Velvet is going to team with Cody. And this whole promo just kind of teased like Cody had no idea what he was going to do. He teased that he would love to say on March 7th, it's going to be him and his lovely wife, Brandy, versus Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal. But Brandy's pregnant. We all know Red Velvet's going to step in that and into that role. And that's when we get Arn Anderson coming down. Cody says that Arn chewed him out for, I don't even remember what Arn chewed him out for. Oh, being too competitive, which I guess
don't want to
is
be
a bad thing in wrestling, right?
Hate being competitive in a competitive sport.
So Cody hands the mic off to Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson asked Cody if the date June 29th, 1985 means anything to him. Cody says no. It's the day before you were born, you fucking idiot. Nope. Don't mean nothing to me.
Couldn't think of a thing.
My birthday's January 26, 1982. If someone said, does the day January 25th, 1982 mean anything? Nope, not a fucking clue.
Couldn't tell I wasn't here. I wasn't born. How can that day mean anything to me?
But Arn clears up the confusion there. And lets Cody know that on that day, June 29th, Dusty was in the ring with Tully Blanchard, and he wrestled a 30-minute match, hopped on a private plane, and got back to wherever the hell, Georgia or whatever, and got to see Cody born on the 30th. And
Nope, I don't know nothing about the 29th.
No idea. I wasn't here.
I wasn't here.
So Arn's playing it off. God bless his soul. That Cody's in danger if he fights Shaquille O'Neal, and that he might not be there for the birth of his kid with Brandy Rhodes. But
this was exhausting.
This was. And then this is where Red Velvet comes down, and it's a big surprise because nobody on earth had a clue that Red Velvet was replacing Brandy Rhodes in this match. And man, the heart and soul of this promo right here is the quote at the end. I'm Red Velvet, and I'm going to stir your bitch ass up, followed by the hand motions. She stirs, Brian. She fucking stirs with an imaginary spoon, an imaginary bowl, an imaginary cake batter.
Well,
she is good.
She is cake. She's red velvet. You can't make a red velvet cake without stirring it in a bowl with a spatula.
This is the cheesiest shit. I thought Jade Cargill's promos were bad.
The only thing is at least that Red Velvet doesn't talk like Siri, because that's kind of how Jade Cargills are. They're very. And then I went to or it's like the TikTok, the audio version of TikTok when the type to text comes up, and that's what Jade Cargill sounds like.
Yes. I wish Red Velvet spoke like that. I'm Red Velvet, and I'm going to stir your bitch ass up. Or maybe like a Captain Kirk. A William Shatner, if you
Yes.
will.
Oh, and I will. Yeah, this was a long, cheesy promo, if you will, call it that. If you will, the Dusty Rhodes, but it was bad. Wasn't good.
And
This is bad for
said
Cody.
nothing. Possibly the best promo in the entire company. Didn't say shit, except he didn't know what the day before his birthday was. I don't know. This was a bad segment. Arn Anderson is not fucking batter. He's not butter on the mic. He's not smooth by any means. And neither was Red Velvet.
Yeah, the good news is Arn's never been really good on the mic. That's why he always had Ric Flair speaking for him, or whoever was managing him at the time, J.J. Dillon. So we digress and we move on past this speed bump of horseshit.
Yes, and we move on to a nice talent enhancement match where we have the Hangman, Adam Page, versus Hollywood hunk Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah. I mean, God bless you, kid, but sorry for what I'm going to do to you.
Ryan Nemeth looks like he was transported here from a 90s boy band. Whether it's his bleach blonde hair, in that nice slick style, the over application of self tanner, the sparkly baby blue boy shorts. This kid just had 98 degrees written all over him. This was Backstreet Boys all the way, and he's supposed to be a baby face, but I just wanted I wanted to see his head get crushed in.
I thought it was at first glance I look up to the TV when this was going down, and I see that guy in the ring, and I thought it was Billy Gunn's son, Austin Gunn, for like I'm talking like a snap of a finger, and I focused in on what was happening. I'm like, nope, okay, it's not him. He had the same type of trunks, the blonde hair. I thought, oh, cool, they're giving Austin Gunn a shot on TV again. Unfortunately, it should have been Austin Gunn on TV and not this fella. Sorry for you, guy.
No, I for some reason I thought he looked a lot like Dolph Ziggler, but
I'll give you that. Did his wig piece get dried out though, like Dolph's? Because Dolph got that wig piece that just dries out on contact.
Oh no, this guy's hair was nice and smooth, just like it's just like somebody from NSYNC. I don't know, Joey Fatone. Who knows?
So let's take this for 1 second while we're kind of on this topic. I want to think about this for a second. AEW always has the wrestlers in talent around the ring, right? In the first, 5-10 rows of the arena there. Do you ever wonder why those guys aren't used in the enhancement talent style matches more? Why we don't get to see the Austin Guns, or why we don't get to see, Luther was standing out there for weeks, finally got to do something last week. These guys, I know they're used on Dark a lot, but don't you think you would want to say, to draw you over and say, this is Luther, he's the head dude over on Dark? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't advertise it out that way. They just had to have these guys stand around the outside. I don't know. Just a thought. Did anybody else think this?
Right. There should be a way to use those people in the audience to your advantage. But no, when they have enhancement talent, it's just I don't know if they want to make a big splash, a big debut, if you will. But yeah, the Bruiser Brody ripoff guy from last week, we never saw him before. This guy, Backstreet Boy, never seen him before. But there's a ton of potential enhancement talent hanging out in the audience singing Jericho's theme song, right down to the librarian, the Trailer Park Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name right now. But yeah, I don't know.
It was just a thought. It just popped in my head, live, unscripted, just a thought that popped in my head before we tear in this match. So anyways, contemplate on that. Let us know on the internets. KayFabe Smark on all social media platforms.
So we've got Hangman Adam Page doing his thing, and this kid wasn't bad by any means. It's just I don't know. I didn't get good vibes off him. I don't really want to see him work anymore. But he hung in there with Adam Page and did a pretty decent job. We get an appearance from the agent Matt Hardy coming down to watch the action, actively cheering on Adam Page, potentially trying to recruit him. And Page, as we expect, wins the match with a buckshot lariat. He kept it short, let the kid get a little bit of offense, and get to showcase the little bit of talent he has so far. Still greener and pig shit, but Page, I think Page gave it to him. He let him do what he needed to let him do.
Right. This whole thing was for the point of Matt Hardy coming out to the side of the ring. This was a reason to have that happen. That was the point of this.
Right. So we go right from one storyline ran for a couple weeks that the Dark Order's trying to recruit Adam Page, and nobody in their right mind thought Adam Page was going to join the Dark Order. And now we have the shitty wrestling agent Matt Hardy, who steals all your money, actively trying to recruit Adam Page. And I don't think anyone in their right mind thinks Adam Page is going to be under Matt Hardy's wing. I could be wrong.
Now,
They
Eric,
could flip the script and surprise me.
when Top Flight signed with Matt Hardy, it was not Top Flight, Private Party. My apologies. When Private Party signed with Matt Hardy, instantly they got onto a big cable show on Impact Wrestling. They went to another wrestling. They beat them, and now they have a #1 contender shot on a pay-per-view of a competing brand. So, I mean, I'm telling you, he signs with Matt Hardy. You get Hangman over there on Impact, he could be the goddamn champion. Not the company he works for, but he could be the champion.
He could do that tomorrow if he wanted.
And being the Impact champion, that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee.
Right. Adam Page has just been one of the top guys since the beginning. That would be the same thing of saying John Moxley needs to sign with Matt Hardy. No, Adam Page can do whatever he wants. He's one of the top guys in the entire company. Everybody wants to see this guy work.
Now, I think this could be my cross the fingers for the long play here, that this is going to be a constant kind of underlying theme in building up in an Adam Page storyline, meaning the Dark Order wanted him. He turned him down. So it picks up some popularity. It picks up some. You're going to run a storyline now for a few weeks of Matt Hardy trying to sign him. Boom, he turns it down. Who's going to want him next? Eddie Kingston can get him to come join and hang in his posse, right? I'm just picking a guy. Boom, he turns him down. But all in turn, the momentum is growing. And now you're getting Adam Page, leading up to back to the Bullet Club or the whatever, the Elite, or and then now they want him to come back, and he says no, and then he's the big motherfucker in charge.
Yeah, and this potentially could be endless, seeing as how there's 463 factions in AEW. You could jump from the Death Triangle to the Dark Order to the Party Hardy. The options are limitless, Brian.
And that's just on Dynamite. He could go over, and then you got Dark. He could go, God knows what's going on over there.
Oh, who knows? There's probably 42 other factions over on that end. You got the Gun Club. Do you think the Gun Club's going to try to recruit him?
Maybe Tully Blanchard wants him.
Yeah, there you go. He'd fit right in with FTR. He's already got black panties.
That's it. It's a wrap.
So that's that. He wins an enhancement match. Hardy tries to recruit him, and then we move on to Dax Harwood versus the Jungle Boy.
Oh, yes, but first, let's talk about Schiavone's great interviewing process that he had during the Adam Page, Matt Hardy segment where they were trying to get him to join, or, he's offering his hand. No reason. Just, you don't have to change over by catering. I've got a big locker room. I'm Matt Hardy. Come change in my locker room. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really say anything, and all Schiavone has to say to wrap it up is, I'd take him up on that. And then they go to commercial. Cool. Way to end it. Way to bring it home. Really might want to try and think about writing something down and have that earpiece. Maybe somebody feeds you a few lines so you say something a little bit wittier to wrap up a segment before they go to commercial besides, I'd take him up on that.
No, this is Tony Schiavone. That's his gimmick.
Fucking Schiavone. Okay, we move on. What match was it again, Eric?
We move on to Dax Harwood versus the Jungle Boy. And we don't want anyone getting involved in this. We don't want Tully getting involved. We don't want Cash getting involved. We don't want Luchasaurus getting involved. So we are informed before the match that Cash Wheeler and Tully Blanchard will be handcuffed to Luchasaurus this entire match.
I thought the stipulation wasn't super cheese. You're going to handcuff the guys there, keep everybody in line. It works on both ends of it, right?
It's not bad.
2 guys holding a Luchasaurus back, Luchasaurus holding the 2 back, because you can buy that, right? You can buy 2 guys holding back Luchasaurus. You can buy Luchasaurus, he's a big son bitch, holding back 2 guys, especially one of them being Tully. So you can buy this back and forth thing, and they even had it alternating, too. They had Luchasaurus in the middle, right? I was waiting for an AEW where it would have been like, Cash is handcuffed to Tully, who's handcuffed to Luchasaurus. That would have been the ultimate AEW move. But they actually had them alternating Tully, Lucha, and then Cash. It all worked out.
Yeah, this wasn't a bad stipulation to the match. Yeah, we actually get to see, without interference, Jungle Boy showcase his talent. We already know that Dax is talented, but first, we get FTR introduced, and they come down with Tully before the handcuffing commences. Then we get Luchasaurus coming down with Jungle Boy on his shoulders, and they are led by the Glizzy Gobbler, Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt's got half his body taped up, and they send Marco packing. He's off. I think it could have been funnier if they included him in the handcuff gimmick.
Now, this is the part that did scare me just a little bit, is they sent Marco out back down the tunnel. And I went, not sure about this.
No, they did the right thing here. Just send him back out of there. Thank God he didn't get involved in this match. And if he would have been included in the handcuff and made the threesome a foursome with him involved, it just would have been a complete shit show. But the Glizzy Gobbler sent to the back, and the match commences. And I know they're just panties, they're just trunks, but the black works on FTR. In the same sense they worked on Stone Cold Steve Austin. If Stone Cold was coming out in red panties or blue panties or green panties every week, he just wouldn't have had the same impact. And I got that vibe big time off of Dax Harwood here. And I just think it gave him the more intimidating, badass, don't give a fuck look.
It's just that simple. I'm not here for flash. I'm here to make cash. It's just as simple as that. It's just like I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. But it's just that simple. Keep it simple. That's it. I don't know what else to say. They kept it simple, and that black works for it, and that's why it works. It's just simple.
Yeah, and this was another match I couldn't take a million notes on because it was fantastic. You got Jungle Boy just fighting from underneath, being the true babyface, the sympathetic babyface that you feel bad for. You got Dax Harwood just being a complete heel. The guy can work his ass off. He looks like he's working stiff as hell, but I'm sure he's taking care of Jungle Boy, being a little bit dirty and just rough on him, man. And this was a true babyface on one side, heel on the other. And
you couldn't get any more truer in this than babyface heel.
Right. And Jungle Boy did get offense in, but he wasn't overpowering Dax by any means. The size difference is crazy. So I think these two did a great job working this match.
I thought that it was great because what you just said to kind of add to that is that he didn't manhandle Dax the Axe. He wrestled Dax the Axe. As Dax would like to be, as his nickname was being thrown around, and JR says, "Why would you want to be called Dax the Axe? Axes are fiendish, mean weapons." It's like, well, that's the point, JR. He's an axe. He's going to cut your head off. I don't know how he didn't understand that. But there was no overpowering for size difference. It was an out wrestling. And you can buy an out wrestling versus a manhandling.
Right. He used Dax's momentum against him a lot of times. Little slippery seal action where he just kind of squeezes out of precarious situations and turns them into advantages for himself. And I thought it was all great until towards the end here. Dax hits him with a killer clothesline and this mean-looking slingshot powerbomb where he picks him up, bounces off the ropes, and just slams Jungle Boy down. Jungle Boy kicks out of those two moves. He's immediately at 100% and starts hitting Dax Harwood with a series of German suplexes. That's where it kind of lost me a little bit. And then right from that, we get to see a little mat wrestling and 35 or so pen attempts between the two of them. They're just trading pen attempts back and forth. And then Jungle Boy gets Dax and the snare trap.
Yeah.
Dax taps out. This is where I'm a little torn, Brian.
Now, see, I didn't mind. I'm going to work my way backwards. I didn't mind that Jungle Boy won because the match had been pretty evenly handled the entire time. But I didn't like, I'm with you, though, that powerbomb was so good that it should have just not been used. If you would have taken that spot out and then just had the rest of the match go through, sure, you get a hold of somebody in a snare trap and, that crossface move there, probably tap anybody out if you can get him in it. And, he got him in it. So I can buy that, but that slingshot powerbomb and that clothesline stuff, it was too stiff and too good to just push past and have it not mean anything.
Right. I'm going to agree with you on there. If they would have just took that out of the situation, the rest of the match could have went on. But that power bomb should have took Jungle Boy out. He would have been down from the count from that. But nope, immediately at 100%. Ends up getting Dax into the snare trap. Dax taps out. And that's where I was in the rock and a hard place because Jungle Boy needed the win. I think to start building the momentum he had at the beginning, he kind of lost some momentum lately, but he had near the beginning of AEW, he was always building momentum, getting more popular. And I think he needed this win. But getting this win over Dax Harwood was a little hard for me to take. Just for the size difference, the skill difference. Dax Harwood is widely regarded as part of the best tag team in wrestling today, whether it's independents, whether it's WWE, AEW. FTR is regarded as most likely the most talented tag team out there. So getting the win with no luck involved, no gimmicks involved, over somebody with much more experience, skill, and size, it just gave me similar vibes to when Tessa Blanchard beat Brian Cage clean in Impact. It was just the same feeling, Brian.
Boom. He got it in, folks. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't bothered by him winning. I thought that it was done well and done clean, and it did not bother me at that spot. There's those spots were a little just fluffed over that I didn't care for that, but I didn't really care that he won. I was surprised, to be honest with you, 100% surprised, but I wasn't disappointed. I don't think it hurts anybody because Dax isn't going for a singles career. So you had a singles guy lose to them. Now put Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy against FTR, and if that loses, if they lose, then FTR needs to win. That's where FTR needs to win. So now next week, I'm just saying, like next week or the next couple weeks, you could have Cash and Luchasaurus fight in a singles match, and then it could go, and then they go to the tag team, at the pay-per-view in Revolution for, in March. I always think way 3 steps ahead, but I think that's what you're supposed to do in pro wrestling. AEW kind of wings it on the night of.
Right. Yeah, I guess you do bring up a good point there that even though it was a huge mismatch in the size and experience areas, what you can give to Jungle Boy is Jungle Boy has been a singles guy most of the time he's in the ring, and Dax is used to being a tag team 99.9% of the time, and so yeah, he's a little bit out of his element, but I don't know. It was just a little hard for me to believe Jungle Boy is going to beat him clean like that, but kudos to Jungle Boy. It doesn't hurt Dax, and yeah, I want to see Jungle Boy A, put on a few pounds, but B, keep on rising up.
Yeah, and then we get the aftermath. Get a little aftermath, a little nonsense going down here, a little tomfoolery with Tully Blanchard reaching in his pocket, grabbing out a little chalk dust, a little white powder.
That's probably not the first time he's pulled white powder out of his pocket, but this time it's baby powder, and he hits Luchasaurus in the face, and they get out of those handcuffs, and they attack the Jungle Boy.
They attack the Jungle Boy. They attack the Luchasaurus. They get Luchasaurus hung up on the ropes, in like a cross. His arms all sprawled out there, and they've got him handcuffed to the ropes, which is very touchy. You be careful how you play that. And then they just beat the holy hell out of Jungle Boy for a little bit.
Oh, don't forget the most important part, Brian.
I was saving that for you.
In an effort, so you've got Luchasaurus basically crucified on the ropes with handcuffs, and this is where the true heels come out, and they pull out a pair of scissors, and they cut the horns right off of Luchasaurus's masks.
Now, I was always under the impression that Luchasaurus's mask was made of plastic, like it was a hard mask. I don't know why. I just always thought that in my head. I never saw it move like when he talked or when he wrestled, really, like for it to be a Halloween rubber style mask. So I just assumed it was like a helmet style mask. Like it was like a Jason hockey mask with like a dinosaur thing on it. Then they just cut those rubber pieces off like it wasn't nothing. I thought they were going to cut his beard or something at first. Like they were going to insult him with his beard or some hair or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Cutting the horns off. You're right. The mask does look plastic and hard, but I guess if you think about it, it really wouldn't make much sense that would really fuck somebody up if you came down on one of them horns.
Well, that's what I always thought. I was like, wow, he just throws headbutts with that mask on like it ain't nothing, but I just always thought it was a hard mask for some reason. Now I know.
But you cut the horns off and you see the 3 inches of cushioning inside there, so that's a very protective, cushy mattress mask. But they go ahead and chop the horns off of that. Luchasaurus is incapacitated. Nobody is helping Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus at this point. But then, Brian, we take those scissors and we're going to cut Jungle Boy's hair off.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Nope. Marco Cunt stops gobbling glizzies in the back for a half a second and comes out to save the day with a steel chair and whips the chair around, throws it at FTR, and he clears the ring.
Didn't Top Flight join him, or somebody else came out too, didn't they?
Oh, that's right. Top Flight did join him.
I thought we had somebody else come out. But yeah, that happened. And then, of course, in pure AEW fashion, we got to go. We're going to hit that commercial and come back and never speak anything of it again.
Nope.
No backstage segments where Luchasaurus is screaming, "They cut my horns." He didn't get mad and smashed that they had him handcuffed and smashing lockers, and there was no challenge for next week. You want to do that to me, Cash? It's me and you next week. No, just ignore it.
So much more they could have did with this segment, and no, it's just over. Somebody came down during the commercial, unhandcuffed Luchasaurus, and they all just gently walked to the back.
And this is where I hate to always jump and sound like I'm riding WWE, but this is where they are superior in the storytelling. AEW, we spoke about it with the wrestlers, but the promotion and the writing is telling the same story. They are telling independent wrestling stories, where once an independent wrestling match is over and the story is done being told for that match, there is no backstage segment. 9 out of 10 times, there is no backstage. There is just, it's just the match is over. There's no video feeds. There's no cameras. It's just this is what is done, and your spot is over, and then it's done. But WWE was always and always has been great with something happens in the ring, and then we got to cut to the back. He's, Luchasaurus is having a fit, and he could have been trashing the back locker room. You want to do this? And then they could have cut back to it 2 or 3 times and kept telling these stories that happen after the match, and they never do it. They have the match. When it's over, you move on to the next match, and we never speak of it again. Maybe next week. Maybe.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. This is independent indie wrestling booking. Knowing that this particular flea market is going to go 100 miles down the road to Duluth, Iowa, and go to that flea market to watch this. So there's no need to really dig your heels in on storylines. It's the spot's done, move on. And that's when we get to go outside and see Team Taz in action.
Team Taz.
So, Team Taz is in the parking lot. Not just any part of the parking lot. Apparently the loading area, because there's semi-trucks back there.
Well, of course, you got to be in the docks, abandoned warehouses, all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's fine. Hang out in the docks. Do what you do. But for some reason, AEW and Tony Khan decided they're setting up a merch booth in the dock area in the parking lot, because that's where everybody goes to line up and get their merch, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, this was some old 1990s WCW right here.
This was just some cartoon-ass bullshit where they wanted to get this spot in there, and they didn't care how it looked or where it went down. But anyway, we've got a merch booth in the loading dock area, and they're selling, for some reason, nothing but Darby Allin and Sting merchandise, and Team Taz is mad.
Ooh, so mad.
And I got to give props to these guys, the local indie wrestlers or whoever were playing these parts, but they were just trying to do their job, sell some t-shirts, and they get a couple guardrail shots where they are thrown full force through guardrails, power bomb through tables. Man, these guys took a beating. These indie guys were eating pavement the entire time.
Yes, I was watching it thinking the same thing, and this reminded me of it was a WCW pay-per-view, uncensored, had to have been early 90s. It was Harlem Heat versus the Nasty Boys, and so you come down the aisleway, right? And before, how it was always wide, and then it would narrow down the aisle, it would be back with a ramp. There was a kind of back where the commentators would sit. There was a merch booth over there, and this was WCW. This was uncensored. You could go anywhere. And even as a kid, I went, well, if I was at that show, how would I go over there to buy merchandise? I would have to be almost on the stage to buy this merchandise. And, of course, they battled through that merchandise, and it was as bad as this. So this is exactly what it took me back to. I shot right back to that WCW pay-per-view.
So, yeah, the horribleness of the setup and the booking and how this thing was put together, that was pure horseshit. But the bumps these guys took in order for Team Taz to get their shit in was nice. But,
these guys
that just was what it was.
These guys earned their $25 for their independent booking thing. Hey, how much for you guys to come in and take some bumps and take a header into a trailer and some guardrail shots and a power bomb through a table? I don't know, $25, some gas money, and a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that headshot into the trailer, that had Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio written all over it. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, that was some a la NWO 1996 there.
Yeah, which is it's fun for nostalgia, but unfortunately that's basing your booking off mid-90s WCW in 2021 probably isn't the best way to go. So hopefully they keep picking and choosing and they don't just stick to this style of booking.
Yeah, we don't want that. Next thing you know, David Arquette's the champion, and we move on.
Yes, David Arquette hanging out with Roddy Hogan and selling ice cream together. If you guys don't know who Roddy Hogan is, Roddy Hogan is a super wrestling fan from Detroit, and he was at WrestleMania 3 in Pontiac, Michigan.
You can actually see him in WrestleMania 7 when they come down the aisle. It's not in Michigan, but he made it to that. He's right in the front row, and they do a big zoom in on him, and he like cheers. Yeah. He's like, ah.
he somehow, some way, he dresses up like Hulk Hogan, and he's met Hogan, he's met Piper, he's met every wrestler you can think of, but he's recently doing some shit with David Arquette, so I don't know. I had to drop that in there.
I think that was just he ran into him at an independent show, and he's trying to get his crazy movie signed to somebody, and nobody cares about it. But you can see Roddy Hogan at a lot of things. The WCW Halloween Havoc that took place at the Joe Louis Arena when the giant fell off Kobo. He's up front on the guardrail on that. So tune in to any of those, and you can see old famous Roddy Hogan. My Roddy Hogan story real quick. I was in line to meet Chris Jericho at a Harmony House back in the late 90s, and Roddy Hogan was inside Harmony House, and me and my friends got dropped off early from school. We stood in line to meet Chris Jericho. We were first in line, and when Roddy Hogan came out, he realized he had to stand behind 3 little kids waiting to get their autographs from Chris Jericho, and he's like, I was here first. I was inside the store, and we went, so you're the second guy behind us. Who gives a shit? That's my Roddy Hogan story. Anyways, we digress and we move on.
Yes. From that little sidestep, we get to move on into Britt Baker versus Shayna. And Shayna is dressed like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. And at this point, I'm sure Kenny Omega is just in the back beating his dick like it stole the money from him. Because to see big booty Shayna dressed up like an anime character, Kenny Omega's got to be spraying the stage with splooge at that point.
I did not pick up on that, but I didn't know much about the Dragon Ball Z stuff.
But other than that, this was just a pretty standard girls match. My dog wanted attention at this point, so I just closed my laptop and just kind of hung out with her. And Shayna can wrestle. Britt's getting better. There were a couple ugly spots in this where you could obviously see Britt feeding Shayna her arm or starting to cooperate with the move before the move even happened. But it is what it is. Britt's continuously improving, and her real skill is just her bitchiness, heel
personality,
and she's got that to a T.
The cherry on top for this match for me was the ending. So the glove thing is pretty dope. That I like that she puts on that latex glove, that dentist glove, and she goes over there and Reba puts on the glove. It's a bright pink, so it stands out now, a different color. So she's getting ready to go for that Rings of Saturn mandible claw thing that I forget what she calls it now off the top of my head.
The lockjaw.
The lockjaw. So she's calling for it, right? You're starting to bring it home. So I like that. And when she got her down and had her in that chicken wing thing first, I don't know, where she had the arms locked before she hits that mandible claw, Britt spins a little bit and lines up perfectly with the camera, smiles, gives a head nod, and then puts her fingers in her mouth and just and then goes for it. So the fact that, and then the commentators even said, look at her showboating for the camera. She had to make sure she had to have the perfect angle to get to put her finishing move in. And I thought that was just perfect. I thought it just added so much to what it was and what her character is. It's a very look at me. So she gets her down to a finishing move and gets camera ready, and then eyeballs the camera, and then just says, right down to the presses on that tongue piece.
And we've touched on this before. Her wrestling skills are continuously improving, but she is far beyond most of the other talent in AEW when it comes to personality, camera awareness, and
that just psychology,
personality and psychology. But as we mentioned before, who do you think's teaching her? Her boyfriend, Adam Cole.
Baby. Yeah, I mean, when you got Adam Cole as your, significant other, if you're not picking anything up from him and you guys are in the same business, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. She's definitely got an advantage in this profession.
I didn't think that also AEW is good. They didn't really give this that squash before main event, 2 minutes for the girls to get in there and do their nonsense. This was they got to go in and put on a match, which is fine.
Pretty decent match. And Shayna got to show off her talent a little bit, and Britt got to show off her personality. And then this is where we get the Thunder Rosa run in. Thunder Rosa comes in, runs off Britt Baker and Reba, and she can't wait to get her hands on Britt at Beach Break.
Beach Break, yeah. They called it Bash at the Beach last year, and then I think they lost the name to it or something. I don't know what happened, but they're calling it Beach Break now. Nonetheless, we move on, and now we get to hit, Eric, our 8-man tag.
No, we get to see Sammy Guevara and MJF in the back.
Oh, right.
MJF continuing his gimmick, trying to schmooze the members of the Inner Circle, and it's all coming to a head with Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is not buying this shit, and he is sure to let MJF know. And MJF says, this is how you're going to play it. And this is where the real feud begins, Brian. I think this is the beginning of something great between MJF and Sammy Guevara.
If they've messed this up, they've got no chance.
It's heel versus heel, but this definitely has the ability to turn Sammy babyface.
It's heel versus heel, but Sammy's the babyface of Inner Circle.
Correct. But his clothing choice was a little, I don't know what the hell that was. That looks like the brown t-shirt they give you at the beginning of NBA 2K19 in my career. And it looks like he got hit with birdshot. I don't know. Sammy's clothing choice. You think for the sex god fucking smooth Latin operator gimmick that he has, that he would dress a little better, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe holy t-shirts are the thing nowadays.
Maybe they're cool. It's cool. It's made by Champion.
That's right. Anything with a C on it. But Sammy's tired of MJF shit, and then we move on to the Good Brothers in the back with the Bucks.
Sammy's tired of MJF shit, and that was about that. So we move on. We got the Bucks and the Good Brothers.
So yeah, and this is where Moxley hit the nail right on the head. Like, what the hell is going on? Last week we're at Omega's house, and Don Callis wants the Young Bucks to have nothing to do with Omega, but Omega is shitting on the Bucks to work with the Good Brothers. So you assume the Good Brothers are best friends with Kenny Omega. But now the Good Brothers are getting all hype with the Young Bucks in the back.
And then Kenny comes in and says, we need to talk later. And then he's mad at the Bucks.
And Kenny comes out in these tight jeans and this V-neck fucking burgundy blouse. And he's wearing his pointy boots. And his hair is just a mess. Kenny Omega looks like one of them 40-year-old suburban moms that got a babysitter for the night, and she's throwing back Cosmos at the local bar because she finally got a night out on the town. Man, I don't know what Kenny Omega is going for with this look, but that V-neck shirt, man, that was just...
It's a wrap.
I don't know. This guy just looks like a fucking clown. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yes, this was again. It's strange on the organization of this, and then we get to see how it's going to go down in the match. Are these four guys going to be able to get along? Is Kenny going to interfere? What's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know. There's more drama too because Don Callis comes out with a roll of Charmin tape to his face. Apparently, I don't know what the hell that tape job on his black eye was supposed to be, but yeah, so that brought the tension in a little more between Omega and the Bucks, but this is where we get into the match. We've got the 8-man tag of the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks versus the Dork Order. And the chosen members of the Dork Order for this match are Evil Uno, of course, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, and shit. What's that fourth guy, Brian?
Johnny Hungee!
Johnny fucking Hungee.
That's right, people. We've got it on the soundboard.
Johnny Hungee!
Makes me want to vomit every time I hear it.
Holy shit. And go ahead. You were going to say something.
This is just, again, touching on what I said, I believe it was last week, where Anderson and Gallows are just, they're outshining any other heels and tag teams on AEW. This is how a tag team works. This is how heels work. Anderson and Gallows they are not by any means the best tag team in the business, or probably even top 5. But in this situation, compared to the other tag teams in AEW and the other heels in AEW, man, Anderson and Gallows are blowing it out of the water. They're hitting it out of the park. This is how heel tag teams work.
Right. There was a good spot where I think it was Johnny Hungee
Johnny Hungee!
was in the ring, and Anderson kicks him in the back of the head, does like a super kick like thing. You know, he's on the apron. Boom. He hits Johnny Hungee in the back. And instantly, though, as soon as he kicks him, he jumps off the apron and he's walking away. Like, I didn't see that. Just do. Which is just really good heel tactic. Like, hit and I'm out. And then you don't know who did it, right? It creates that confusion instead of just like blind tags and tapping people on the shoulder and, you know, giving them the old little rascals. Like, that's how AEW would usually just tease people, is just, you know, stick their tongue out at them. But this was good heel shit. I like that. Just that little thing. It's so small and little, right? But it changes so much.
Yeah, it started off with the heel shit with Luke Gallows just mocking the shit out of Johnny Hungee because there's about a 1.5 foot height difference there.
I forgot.
So he's mocking him with the height and getting down on his knees and putting up his dukes, and Hungee gets his
doing
fucking cocaine fuel frenzy going on. But yeah, also that spot you talked about where Anderson kicks Johnny Hungee in the back and then jumps down, and Hungee gets mad at one of the Bucks. I think it was Bald Buck, and he thinks that he hit him, so he hit him. And yeah, it's just bam. They're working like a well-oiled machine here, Anderson and Gallows, and this is how it's done, man.
It's how it's done. I like those guys. If you want to go into technical wrestling, you know, Anderson and Gallows, I don't think are the guys. But
they're powerhouses.
But they're mean, strong, cool wrestlers, though. They get that cool factor out. Man, if you want to sucker me in, if you want to see me mark out for somebody, just be the cool guy in the room, like, and you just want to hang out with, like, that's what draws me into a wrestler. And you go down the list over the years, and that's why. And Anderson and Gallows just seem like the cool dudes to hang out with. You're at a bar, you can hang out with the Dark Order on that side, or you're going to go hang out with Anderson, and, you know what I'm saying? And Gallows, and be like, I'll go hang out with those dudes over there. They look like they can get into something, and when something gets into, though, they can handle it.
Right. You're at a bar. Do you want to hang out with Johnny Hungee, or do you want to hang out with Carl Anderson? I'll take Anderson 100% of the time. But the Young Bucks do get in this match, and then that's where it turns into the typical Young Bucks match. They just, let's get our shit in. Let's do as many contrived, overworked moves as we can, and that's what the audience loves with AEW. They love to see the Young Bucks routine, and they get what they're paid for. So this was a kind of an all-around match where we got to see a good powerhouse heel asshole tag team. The indie fans got to see the Bucks do their thing, and then the nerds in their mom basement got to see Johnny Hungy go on a frenzy and kick the shit out of people.
Yeah, you got a little bit of everything here. Got a little bit of everything.
And I'm wondering, we got to do some research on this and check, does Rick Knox work all the Young Bucks matches
I think so.
so that they can have a complete fucking moron keeping order amongst the match? That way 59 people can all be in the ring at once and there's no counts and
Nothing matters.
nothing matters. Nobody knows who's legal. Just pen and slap each other's backs and do what you do.
And then he can also be involved in the matches, and he can get handed a foot every now and then. You've seen this gimmick, right? They did it in this match. Somebody hands him goes for a kick, and then they hand it to Rick Knox, and then Rick's standing there holding the guy's foot, and then the guy looks confused, and then he catches an enziguri in the back of the head from the, something silly like that always has to go down. Rick has to be involved, and it's not a Rick Knox soundbite here, but I still think it stands.
Turner's a moron.
Yeah, Rick Knox is a moron.
Yeah, they're in the same club.
He's a moron. You can go with this one. Sorry, I should have done this one.
I still hate that guy.
There you go. I still hate that guy.
There you go. Rick Knox, the ringleader to the Young Bucks circus.
That's it, man. I don't know what they got. They're in bed with that guy for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't know too much more. Was there any more spots you really wanted to touch
Not
on?
really. The point of this was the ending.
Yeah, Buck Hogan gets that pin after they perform the Meltzer driver, and that was an ugly Meltzer driver. Nick Jackson was already halfway down on the tombstone before her Bald Buck even touched him.
Yeah, some of the timing can be, that has to be a hard move to get the timing down perfectly anyways, but to make it one of your finishers, it's got to be a hard one. And then you get the Young Bucks talking about next week. It is next week, right? The Beach Blast, Beach Break. They're going to do the tag team battle royal to see who faces the Young Bucks. Because, remember, this is AEW, and points matter. So your win-loss record counts. Unless you can go win a battle royal, then the worst team can then face and get a championship match.
How's the timing on this one, Brian? Because this Sunday coming up, we're going to have a big battle royal
called the Royal Rumble.
And the winner of this battle royal gets to face the champion at WrestleMania.
Wow. Timing.
What a coincidence that a week after we're going to have a battle royal of tag teams, and the winner of that match gets to face the tag team champions at the next big pay-per-view.
And then we were informed that the Young Bucks have been put into the tag team battle royal. What would we do if the Young Bucks win? Is there no match? Nope.
No.
They get to pick their opponent. And they dropped a little Easter egg by slowly rotating about 45 degrees and turning to the Good Brothers, as he was saying, and we can face anybody we want. And he's looking right at Anderson and Gallows. And in my head, I'm thinking this is a good way for them to turn on the Elite and push away from Kenny Omega, that they're going to challenge those guys for the championship. And then
But logically, wouldn't they just want to fight like Marco Stunt and what's that guy, the Backstreet Boy from earlier? That's who I would pick.
Yeah, I'd pick Luther and that other guy, Serpentico.
Yeah,
some schlubs. But
no,
they're dropping that hint that it's going to be the Good Brothers, but we'll see. First, they got to win. Maybe the Good Brothers win.
Either way, it'd be a good match. That I'd be pretty interested in seeing that. the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers going at it.
We're going to see it. It's just a matter of when. That reminded me, and I took a screenshot so we could talk about it here on the show. This could lead us into this now, Eric. AEW has been rumored to have filed for a new trademark called Battle of the Belts. Now, this was an old pay-per-view type thing that was done back with the NWA, the AWA, and I think that might have been it. But, at that point, right, the NWA was a lot of NWAs, so I don't know who they had involved in there. Turner or Crockett Promotions could have been in there. Anyways, they're doing that, so that gives the idea, and what they're talking about here on this post is they have AEW, NWA, and Impact is what the thought on the rumor would be if this comes to be. So this could be led into a battle of the belts of the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks for Tag Team Superiority Championships. Who knows?
Now, I don't know how well unified tag teams would work across company lines. That would be an interesting concept, to say the least.
Works for right now while there's minimal to no travel, and all you're going is from Jacksonville, Florida, up to Tennessee, for Impact.
Right.
So that's not a lot of travel. You're just going there, this studio, that studio, this studio, that studio. It's not like, they're in Vermont, and they're in Oregon, and then they're in Detroit, and then they're in Pensacola, and then they're in L.A., trying to keep up with the 2 touring schedules. Right now would be a good time to do it if you're going to do it.
Right. And it gets more booking, I guess. If you're involved in that and you get to work 2 shows, you're getting twice the bookings.
So it could be interesting, done right, but getting 2 to 3 companies to cooperate on who wins on matches, because, somebody's guys has to lose. It can't be all AEW guys win. Right? And Impact and NWA guys have to win as well. So who wins and who loses, and how does it work in the long term? Be interesting to figure out. But that was that. I think that wraps up the AEW Dynamite and their shenanigans for the night. Oh, no. We get a little bit of nonsense. My apologies.
We got to sprinkle a little nonsense in this. Ray Phoenix comes out, and he decides he's going to take on 4 people by himself.
Why not?
And, it always works out so well for him when he does it any other time, right? So he comes in, he gets caught, and who makes the save, Brian? Oh, Johnny Moxley.
The Mox comes out, and he's raising hell. And then, because Moxley's in the ring, who gets
Kenny Omega makes an appearance.
The Omega makes the appearance, and for his troubles, he catches the double-arm DDT and gets spiked right on his dome piece, and he sells it pretty good, where he just stiffens straight up into a headstand and then falls down. It was pretty good. That was a good money. That was like some good old-school Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner sells that we've seen over the years.
So, we just solidified that match for the Beach Bash, and, everything's in place where it needs to go.
Now we just got to see if they can deliver to us, and then also see if NXT is going to deliver to us with a special for next week as well, because they always seem to go, hey, AEW is doing a special show, a beach blast, a beach or whatever. And well, we got to do one too. So I'm waiting to see if they make one up for next week, but we will see what happens as that gets closer.
We will see what happens next Thursday night when we do a podcast, because we have Royal Rumble this Sunday.
Yeah.
Then we got the beach break. Then we got NXT special edition show. It's going to go one of 2 ways. Either we're going to do Royal Rumble, and then we'll touch on the high spots from AEW and NXT, or we're going to be cracking rock stars and doing a marathon show till 3 a.m. I think it's going to be the former.
Yes, I see the first one happening. We will definitely cover all of your Royal Rumble needs that will be going down on the WWE Network. Not Peacock yet. It's on the WWE Network for the next couple weeks. And then we'll be talking about what happens on AEW and then, if anything, on NXT. So we leave you with that, Eric. Well, actually, you know what? Before I send it off to Eric, let's make sure you guys go over to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and subscribe, like, and share, join, follow, get involved on all of that. Go to anchor.fm/thekayfabesmark. You can leave us a voicemail. You can get involved over there. and then hit up that Amazon because we're going to set the world on fire. We're taking it over like AMC and GameStop. You need to go in and storm the gates, and you can go to audibletrial.com/thekayfabesmark, audibletrial.com/thekayfabesmark. Get a free audiobook, free 30-day trial. Check it out, and let us know what you think. Eric, what you got for us?
If you want to see me and see my personal Instagram page, you can hit me up over there. It's Oh Yeah, It's Eric, all one word. Also, from time to time, my snoozing dog Stella over there and we get on TikTok every now and again to do stupid videos. You can hit us up on TikTok. It is all one word once again. Stella Hates Eric. And if that's that, you got anything else, Brian?
It's a wrap.
Well, the only thing I got left to say is hooty hoo, we out the gates.